What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We are in episode 31. Is 31. It 31 or I just said it off the top of the head? Am I right?
Nah, you're right. 31.
All right, man. Reggie Miller it is. I got my co-host Denzel with me. My name is Jared, and we're going to get into some cigars and a little bit of everything else today. Hey, with that being said, let's jump right into the show. We're going to start discussing what we're going to be smoking because they are the true stars of the show. And then we can get into the everything else afterwards. Me, I got a Charter Oak is what I'll be smoking today. Is that going to come
Charter
in?
Oak.
Pick up. Well, I got my face in the background. Yeah. It's not going to focus. Is it? Forget it. It is what it is.
So Charter Oak is that the cigar brand or the name of the cigar?
That's the brand. I suppose the actual name of the cigar, well, you know what? It could be the actual name of the cigar. But there were several Charter Oaks in there. But on this band, I don't see the specific type. You know what I'm saying? Like it says Connecticut, Nicaragua. Also on the band, I see Foundation Cigar Company. But that sounds to me more like the parent company, more so than the actual name of the cigar, because I saw
like the cigar line or whatever.
Yeah, the line that puts out several ones, you know. But hey, let me see. I did look up the information on it. Let me just pull this up real quick so I don't mess it up. It's going to be a Connecticut wrapper, Ecuador, Connecticut. Those are the two wrappers, and I also got a Nicaraguan origin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what I'll be smoking today. What about yourself, D? What you got?
Man, I went ahead and tried something different. Not necessarily different, but something different from what I haven't seen before. It's by the Deadwood line.
Yeah.
With the Fat Bottom Betty and the Sweet Jane. Found a Crazy Alice. So it's a new one. Interesting shape. I don't even know what
bottom heavy too.
Yeah. Well, top heavy. Well, I guess depending on how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Interesting. Can't speak right now. Interesting shape. And I'm not exactly sure what the flavor is that I'm supposed to be getting from this. So, but we trust the Sweet Janes and the Fat Bottom Betty to really hold those flavored cigars very well. So we're going to be interested to see how this one kind of pans out.
Crazy Alice is her name.
Crazy Alice. And she looks crazy on this joint too. She looks crazy.
I believe it. They always got those crazy bands. Hey, look, I'm interested in what you got, man. I'll say this for those who aren't watching the video. He did show the video. For those of you check us out on video on Spotify, you seen what it looked like. For those who didn't, it looks like a torpedo. Not a torpedo. It looks like a top. Remember those toy tops you used to take and spin them on the table? That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So it has that taper torpedo end, but more of a sharp torpedo end.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
So what kind of cut do you go with on that for you?
Man, I didn't have all my tools available to me, so I would have went with a straight cut, but I went with a V cut, and this is how it turned out.
Hey, that worked all right because I didn't think you had the space for it. To be honest with you, I thought straight was the only way.
Neither did I, but I was gonna mess it up on the spot. So it was like either we mess it up now and just see what happens, whatever. But it actually worked out. You know, this might be a good little cut.
I ain't mad with it. I think you're gonna get a little bit of everything with that. I'm going with a punch for what I got, and I've already pre-punched before the show, so we can get into it. You gonna be pairing yours with anything? As I like mine with a match?
No, I had an iced coffee, but I end up killing that a little earlier than I expected. You know, to get watered down, and it's no good after that. So I just went ahead and smashed it. Went ahead and grabbed a Cayman Jack. So we're gonna just go with the Cayman Jack with it. Nothing too crazy.
Hey, brother, I'm with a Cayman Jack today myself, man. I got.
Oh, yeah, you got any particular flavor?
The mango.
Okay. You know, I haven't tried all the other flavors yet. I'm still with just the regular. Now I have tried the Moscow Mule one. Mm-hmm. Not the biggest fan of it. Even though I'm a huge fan of Moscow Mules, but you know, when you think Moscow Mule, I want my Moscow Mule to be a Moscow Mule. All right, so we toasting. I'm just going straight butane on it.
I hear you. I don't think I'm gonna knock this out in one match, even though I do have a good light. I feel like I'm gonna have a very uneven burn with the light that I have. So, but you know, I'm gonna roll with it and see what the cigar does.
Our first light. I'm gonna say this. The wrapper, the sweet wrapper. So it is a sweet wrapper, but it's not as sweet as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Not as sweet.
That can be a good thing.
Subtle on like the cinnamon. Trying to see what else I'm picking up. It's like a sugary cinnamon, but not too heavy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like a cinnamon toast crunch almost.
That's one of my favorite cereals, brother. As a cereal connoisseur, I say that's one of my top cereals.
It is. And you know the crazy thing is, one of the cheapest in the stores right now. Honestly, that's one of the ones I pick up more so than any other one. One, because it's one of my favorite ones, but then when I get a big box for $1.99, you can't find no cereal under $2 nowadays.
Y'all got Cinnamon Toast Crunch for $1.99?
$1.99.
Commissary. Can't find it at that price. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Commissary.
I was gonna say I don't get it right way. I don't blame you then.
Sorry. Sorry. But nah. Give some pretty good prices in the commissary, man. I remember especially when I was in El Paso and, you know, did all my shopping at the commissary because I was living on post at the time. And I would go to Walmart every now and then or go to Albertsons. And I'm like, how do people shop off post? Like, I felt bad. I'm going there, everything priced up, $2, $3 to get a bag of chicken. Chicken for me would be like $5. Off post, they're talking about $10.99. I'm like, and then if you got the membership, it might knock $1 off. I ain't walking around with a membership all the time, you know. But man, those prices are insane. I go to the grocery stores every now and then off post, but it's rare. And if it is, it's just for that one thing, and it's an emergency. I'm not trying to go all the way over to the commissary, or the commissary might be closed.
Right.
I kind of feel bad, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I have those privileges to take them away from me. Like when I can't do it no more, I'm gonna be hurting.
You know, all of us, we have to deal with the triple markup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
the original person who actually makes it, they sell it for, you know, if it's $3 for them to make, they got to sell it to $6 to whoever the actual company that's going to be the brand over it. You know what I'm saying? And then once the brand gets it, then they got to go sell it to the grocery. I'm sorry, $3 to actually make it from the brand. Then the brand sells it for $6 to the grocery store, and then the grocery store got to sell it for $9.
They got to make their money too.
So boom, you know, by the time it hit the shelf, it's $6 up more than what it actually would have been worth if you had a direct connect.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure the military take care of y'all where they don't mark up too high. They might mark it up $1 on you. Yeah, but they profitable, but they barely profitable. You know.
Yeah, they'll take the hit. They're gonna get some funds from somewhere else. So you know, what I mean, they'll do all right. And then they got a lot of the workers who work there. They work on tip basis too. So they have a lot of workers who don't necessarily have
overhead.
You know, they're not wages. They're not wage workers. They're working for tips. So that actually kind of helps out too. A lot of people who don't know that.
Price. I didn't know that, but yeah, that would definitely help with being able to lower the price because my overhead is lower now that I don't have to pay these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it all kind of pans out, but yeah, kind of got like a little bit of cinnamon toast crunch type of feel, but real subtle, real easy, real light. I'm still getting a lot of tobacco flavors coming in, a lot of woodiness, oak on top of that nice, easy sweet, not overbearing.
That company's Deadwood, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, the Deadwood Drew Estate, the Deadwood Drew Estate pairing, when they pair together and do their cigars, the three, have I had three? I know I at least had two. How many they got? They got like 4, don't they?
I just know of 3. I just know the Fat Bottom Betty, the Sweet Jane, and this is my first time trying the Crazy Alice.
I felt like somebody
those are the only 3 I know.
Well, maybe I had the Alice. I don't remember, but I know out of the ones that I have, I enjoy the ones that bring the tobacco in a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like you can give me the flavors, but I do want to know what I'm here for. I like to know, hey, I'm here for the tobacco, man. Don't ever get that.
You want to have that good marriage. You want to have that good marriage. And I've been wanting to try other flavor cigars recently because I'm interested. After we started the Deadwood series, I'm interested. And I also recently had a Java Red and a Java Mint. More recently, the Java Mint. And it kind of took me back to wanting to try other flavor cigars and see how they handle the flavors. I remember my first taste into the flavor cigar life was the CAO. The Moon Trance and all those guys. I kind of want to try the acids a little bit to see how they handle it. Because now that my palate's a little bit more mature, it's a little more... I would
like to revisit it too now that you bring it up.
Yeah, go back to say, okay, how does this measure up versus now how Deadwood's handle it? How we enjoy the Javas, right. To see if we were, kind of skimping on what we were really looking for.
Right.
Did we really get the nuances that we really wanted?
Hey, I'll be honest. I hadn't had like a CAO or a Moon Trance or anything since probably 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like 2012, and I'm basing it because I remember I used to have a buddy of mine around that time I was kicking it with. And I know I ain't really seen him since about 2012, so I had to have been smoking those with him during that time frame. So it's been a decade. So I'm very
I had a vanilla CAO more recently, maybe 5 years ago. But even then, I don't think when I was smoking it with the intent to try to see what the tobacco was like in that cigar, more so than
being
just
analytical,
smoking it for fun. Yeah, I wasn't being analytical at all. Just smoking just to smoke. All right. So what are you getting off of your cigar so far?
We got to do an episode about that too, man. That should come pretty soon before we forget about it. Maybe this week. We go back and revisit those types of cigars.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe let's do this upcoming episode.
Okay.
Yeah. If I can find a Moon Trance or something, but for me, with this, I ain't seen one either in a while. I ain't been looking for it, but I ain't seen one either. This Charter Oak, I didn't, normally when something jump out at me is when I say, hey man, I go into that part of the conversation. I didn't lead into it because nothing jumped out at me. But what I am picking up from it is a very creamy, I'd say medium body smoke, with some nuttiness. Nuttiness is kind of the main flavor I'm picking up on at this point in time. Nothing else is really hitting my palate other than it's very creamy and it's got a big nutty flavor that's coming out. Pause.
I was going to pause you, but I was going to let it slide. You caught it yourself. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
pause yourself.
Because I wish I had another word to go to. And I normally consider myself having a decent vocabulary, but it just wasn't. That's all that was coming.
Hey, look, sometimes you just got to go with what you got. Roll with what you got.
Cashew. It's a cashew type. I'm picking up on cashews, like on my palate.
Oh, man. Hey, sometimes you got to roll with it, man.
Hey, you mentioned that you finally did try that Java Mint out. What's your take on it? Because you never gave it to me.
Oh, I never did. Yeah, you made a slick little joke about the menthol. No. I never went back.
Who started that conversation?
I did.
You did. I was enjoying a Java Mint. I'm bragging to you about my experience, and then you just like, you
had to ruin it for you.
Menthol. You enjoy that menthol, don't you? Like, it is mentholy. But anyway,
but it was good. It was good. No, I enjoyed it. It's a number 2 for me right now, but it's actually closer to that Java Red than I'd originally had given it. Yeah, than I anticipated. So, I mean, something about the aroma was like, it was nice. The aroma more so than anything, more so than just the mint itself. It blew me away. Honestly, it blew me away. I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the mint. I was expecting a little bit of cocoa, or a lot rather, and kind of that going together, like that little thin mint type of flavor.
Yeah.
But with a little bit more earthiness to it.
Thought a little peppermint patty was gonna happen for you.
Yeah. And I thought that was gonna be pretty much it. But as more as it burned and burned and burned, the aroma just got more and more rich. You know what I'm saying? It just became a really good atmosphere for the smoke. And I really enjoyed it. I was wild. You know, I didn't feel like a cigarette smoker.
You didn't. Well, thank you, man. I won't demand an apology. I'll accept that comment as an apology for trying to ruin my moment. Like, it was a good moment. I haven't got one since, you know what I'm saying? And I should.
Like, I don't want to be made to feel like a cigarette smoker. I'm smoking menthol.
Made me feel like crap in a moment I was having a good time. So, I appreciate it that you.
And now I feel bad because like I'm telling you, like more and more that it burned. By the time I got to that second, third, like the aroma and everything that was in the room was just it was pleasant. It was pleasant. And it was like, wow. I was really, really wild by it. And it was probably one of the stronger aromas of all the Java flavors. All of them are kind of like they had that flavor, but it's subtle as far as the aromas go. But with that one, it was just more grand.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I guess I'll grab one of those for the stash now that you talked it up for me. With the red though, you said the red is still number one.
Still number one.
Okay, I ain't mad at that.
Still number one. And then Java Mist coming behind number two now. And a close number two was not a distant 1 and 2.
Yeah, competitive. It's just not. It's just two, but it's competitive.
Yeah, competitive. LeBron and Jordan. You know what I mean? Jordan 1, LeBron. Another conversation. We ain't gonna get into that.
Yeah. And I'm not a mint guy like that. Truthfully.
Me neither.
I don't like chocolate and mint.
I can say I do.
I only like
mint. I enjoy it.
Like real mint. Like if you put mint with something else, I'm like,
that ain't it.
Give me a peppermint and say, eat this peppermint. I'll say, yeah, I'll take one. But like when they have the peppermint coffees and stuff, I tried them. I'm not mad at them.
But you don't go
just not a fan.
I'm not big on that. Yeah. But give me some Junior Mints and some York peppermint patties. I'll take them.
I won't take them. I tell you no.
I'll buzz down on them. Yeah, we cool with that.
Yeah, I'll politely tell you no. I'm not interested in those. So, but I won't judge you. Just a little. I don't like coconut and chocolate either.
Really?
I don't. And truthfully, I don't like coconut in very many things unless it's an actual coconut.
Coconut?
Yeah. Or coconut water. But the actual, just the what do they call it? Is it the meat, I guess, of the coconut, the actual part you shave off? I can't have
Toss me some coconut anytime, man. Toss me some coconut anytime. For me, you give me a coconut, two things, coconut and pineapple, takes me to being tropical each and every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm cool with coconut anything. Coconut, cashews, almost anything. Almost anything.
I'll take it in like in the acai bowls. I'll take it in that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm not too big of a fan of most things. Just don't. I like coconut, so I would think that I would like it that way. I don't.
But you know what?
I don't like cherry.
What I don't like, I love watermelon, but I hate watermelon flavored anything.
Too artificial.
Too artificial or bland. Like it just doesn't do it for me. Like I get sucked into trying it all the time. I see watermelon flavor. Let me try that. This drink, that drink, this ice cream, whatever it is. I want to try it because I love watermelon. But every time I do, I regret it.
Yeah.
Every time. It's like this was not worth it.
I got you on one. I got the what is the juice? I see the name of the brand right now. It's cranberry and watermelon. What is the thing called, man? Anyway, that was good. That was a good mix. It's the little wave,
like the VH Ocean Spray.
Ocean Spray. They got a watermelon cranberry, and I liked it. You gotta get that thing good and cold, and it go.
It's probably because of cranberry. The cranberry probably hold the weight of it.
The cranberry hold the weight. Of course, the cranberry hold the weight. If you're not a cranberry fan, don't mess with it. But cranberry go pretty good with a juice, especially if you throw some alcohol in it. You know what I'm saying? So
some Hennessy.
Yeah, throw some Hennessy in there. And that watermelon is such a subtleness to it that it dilutes that cranberry just enough to give it that little watermelon splash. And I think you go. I don't think you'd be mad at it. You might not be going back to go buy jug after jug, but you wouldn't be mad at it.
Well, see, I think that might be what it is. You need something to go along with the watermelon to hold the weight and let the watermelon be a nice little number 2 player.
Andy Robin.
Watermelon.
Batman.
Yeah. Watermelon's always a Batman. It's always a number 2 option. Unless it's the actual watermelon. Yeah. And then we in business.
Yeah, man, watermelon is just refreshing. It ain't nothing like it on a hot day. Like
stereotype, no stereotype. I take the stereotype. I love watermelon.
Yeah, man.
And I love chicken too.
I know. Hey, man, we went to the buffet at out in, what was it? The Aria? Was it what water? What?
Oh, in Vegas.
In Vegas, we was at the
Rio
casino buffet. We was at Rio at the buffet. This is back when Rio was still open. I know it's dying slowly now, but years ago we was at the buffet in Rio, and you took the challenge, brother. You went and grabbed you some chicken and some watermelon, and you walked through there proudly, man. And
I was happy with it. I'm pretty sure I was smiling from ear to ear. I might have been drunk, but I was smiling from ear to
ear. Sorry, black people. Not sorry for the chicken or watermelon, but sorry for the conversation. Don't be mad at us.
Speaking of chicken, man, I was in Maryland last week, and I went to a Bojangles. The first and only time I ever went to a Bojangles and could not eat my food.
What? They blew it.
Worst Bojangles I've ever had in my life. Try to get one of the sandwiches, some seasoned fries, all of that good stuff. Biscuit. You know what I'm saying? We're going all in Bojangles, right?
Yeah.
And the worst Bojangles I've ever had.
Everything was bad about it?
Everything was bad about it.
Because that sandwich I co-signed the sandwich, and I hate that that's the way you got it. You know what I'm saying?
And it dawned on me. My son told me this. He was like, Dad, I don't think that they take Bojangles seriously this far up north. And I'm like,
you're probably right.
That's probably what you're probably right. Like, they don't understand what they got. You get the recipe from Bojangles. This was Northern Maryland, like closer to Delaware, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. And we was coming back from Philly, and he said, Dad, I want some Bojangles. Found the Bojangles real close by, like on the way, one of the only ones on the way. Because in that area, there's not another one until I get way down to the southern part of Virginia, right? So in my area in D.C., there's not many Bojangles around. So I found one, stop in, thinking I'm about to have me a good, nice southern Bojangles meal, all of that good stuff. One, they ain't got no sweet tea. That should have been a red flag.
Big time. If you don't take the time, because Bojangles sell sweet tea. I know they all don't sell sweet tea up north, but if you don't take the time to respect, like you say, what that restaurant does as a facility,
a staple.
Yeah.
That should have been the first red flag is when I asked for a sweet tea before we got our meal. Yeah, they asked you what you want to drink. Let me get a couple sweet teas. We ain't got no sweet tea. Red flag.
You Bojangles, that should have been. Y'all just make y'all own rules. Like,
it's like you gotta have chicken, you gotta have sweet tea.
You got to, man. I don't go to In-N-Out and be like animal style, and they be like, "Hey, man, we're in Northern California. We don't do animal style. You gonna give me animal style because that's what y'all do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta give it to me how the brand is set up,
not where it's located.
Man, I've never been this disappointed with a Bojangles ever in my life. And it just kind of spoke to how the culture is in looking at different regions that for us, you go North Carolina, Georgia, whatever, Bojangles better be hitting. If you ain't hitting, you ain't right.
Hey, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think they do it as good in Georgia as they do it in North Carolina.
But that's where it's from, though.
Yeah,
that's where it's from. Yeah. So maybe that's what it could be.
Maybe we just come from that North Carolina place where they get right with it. You know what I'm saying? And we have a standard for it. But even in Georgia, when they first put a Bojangles up out here, because it ain't been here that long. When they first got them, there was people that I was working with that would go by because it was in the area where I worked at. And they were like, "Oh, this Bojangles all right." After about a month, they was like, "Man, Bojangles ain't all that." You know, they start going back to their other places again. Because that's how long it took for the people to get slack on, like you say, hitting them core values, hitting the recipe how it's supposed to be. Yeah, you come out the bat and you probably measuring everything and getting it perfect week 1, week 2, week 3. Yeah. After that, you like, all right, I got it. And your mix ain't right no more because you eyeing it. And now, then you know what I'm
saying? They probably had, especially when they flagship these places down in Georgia, they probably had some people from North Carolina come down to get the store running.
Them, making sure it's right.
Yeah. And then they back up, we got it, boom. And now y'all running the ship and then just let the ship sink.
Yeah.
That's probably what it could have been. They got them validated. And then went back up to North Carolina like, all right.
They had the respect. I remember the conversations of people going Bojangles Popeyes when it first came out. They immediately got into competition with Popeyes and people was torn. Like they was with it.
Yeah.
And then they lost it like that. And it's like, come on, man. You just can't go straight. That's crazy with the big dog and then lose it.
But that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? In North Carolina, ain't no competition. Ain't no competition. Ain't no Popeyes Bojangles competition.
We going to
Bojangles hands down.
Bojangles. Yeah. Occasionally churches in North Carolina, but Bojangles for the most part.
Bojangles. That's where it's happening at. But man, I'm telling you, this was the worst Bojangles experience I've ever had in my life, man. I was so disappointed. I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? The core of me was hurt. The core of me was hurt because I ain't had it in a while because, like I said, there's not one around.
Yeah.
And I happened to pass through one. It's like one of the only ones in the area. I'm like, man, y'all don't understand what y'all got. And I get it. It's the only one around. So probably ain't no love. People up there probably don't go to that Bojangles like, yo, Bojangles is that thing. And I kind of feel bad for people around that area if they go there and they say, hey, this is our Bojangles. They go somewhere else. They go to North Carolina. They go to Georgia or whatever, and they see a Bojangles. They're going to stop through. If they ever did, though, they're going to be like, yo, what are we doing back home? Because this ain't what I'm used to.
Right.
This ain't it.
See, that's the thing about it. When you get one, people automatically going to be curious. What is that? What's that new spot? They're going to try it. And if you miss the spot, they never going back again.
Never going back.
But you have the ground to pop something new. You know what I'm saying? The people there could break something new in their area. And then next thing you know, they start popping up everywhere like McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, we got to have more of these. Like the clientele is just way too overwhelming for this one facility. We need more.
But they didn't do it. Like, so we got Culver's here. Y'all have Culver's in your area? It's a Wisconsin burger spot. All right. So what Culver's has managed to do is they pulled off what we're talking about. Come from Wisconsin. Basically, all they are is, you heard of Freddy's before?
Mm-hmm. I heard of Freddy's.
It's like a Freddy's or a steak and shake. You know what I'm saying? They like that, but they got the crinkle fries. They serve the same purpose. They're all in competition. Same little thin burgers. You know, ice cream, all that stuff. They all doing it. But what Culver's did is they managed to always be fresh. They always have ice cream of the day. They switch it up. And because they've managed to keep that consistency, they always got a line around the building. So next thing you know, it went from seeing one Culver's to multiple Culver's. They just keep popping up in my area now because they're doing it right. And Freddy's kind of did the same thing, but they were just a little less consistent. But Culver's did it right, you know, and other places can do that.
Let me ask you this: How do you feel about crystals?
For those of y'all, I was smoking. I shook my head no. But
right, okay. But no. I was gonna see if that made your point, because I always heard about the crystals White Castle comparison, right?
Right.
And I love White Castle, but I hear people it's kind of split. Some people hate White Castle. Some people love White Castle. I'm on the side that loves White Castle.
Okay.
And while I'm in Georgia, I see Crystals, and I've heard about the comparison. So I'm like, let me swing through and get me a couple of these Crystals burgers. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much just similar, very, very similar to a White Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And I get them Crystal burgers, and I'm like, yo, this is straight trash. I don't ever want to hear this comparison ever again.
Yeah.
And now, just off of what you just mentioned, like, could that Crystals have been just somebody who didn't care about the brand or whatever, and lost me off of the fact that, hey, I know what a White Castle is. You make a Crystals, you drop the ball on picking up, you know what I'm saying, somebody who's looking for something similar to what they got. Freddy's Steak and Shake, spot that you talking about from Wisconsin. You know what I mean? But when I had that Crystals, that was talking about highly disappointed.
Yeah.
That I ever heard anybody mention White Castle and Crystals in the same sentence.
I don't. I hadn't had White Castle since I was a snot nose. You know what I'm saying? I probably was at 10 or 11 the last time I had that, so I can't speak on it. But what I will say is, Crystals isn't the move for me. Now, like you say, I know people that vouch for it and they love it. Let me go get a sack. Y'all want a sack? No, I don't want a sack. You know what I'm saying? But
no, keep it.
And don't get me wrong, I've eaten my share of Crystals in the day, but I ate my share of Crystals mainly because working and you just need a little variety to your diet. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't keep eating the same fast food spots. You're like, all right, Crystals, you'll slide in the mix once every 2 months just because I can't think of nothing else.
Nothing else.
But it ain't like that, man. You know, and I done tried various things on the menu hoping it's gonna be like that. Never. It's average. It's average at best, man. Yeah. So I'm not with
I wouldn't even say average. I wouldn't even give it a rating.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
That's how bad Crystals was for me. I'm sorry to any Crystals lover out there, but it's not me. It's not for me. It's not my thing.
I don't get it. I don't get the hype behind it, you know. And I want to try White Castle again just to compare it to Crystals now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just assuming they the same thing and then just dismissing it.
No, it ain't the same. It ain't the same.
I don't spend enough time up north to ever make time for that trip though. So one day.
Yeah, it ain't the same. Yeah. Yeah, grab you some White Castle one of these days, man.
Hey man,
well, you might have an interesting experience afterwards, but you'll love it going down.
I don't want no interesting experience afterwards, man. My stomach ain't the same these days, brother. But that's the Crystals experience too, though, man. It'll get to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it'll get you there.
Yeah. So I guess all them little steamed up patties is the same way. But I tell you what, I have had White Castle. Them little frozen White Castles in the grocery store. Like,
oh no, I got those in the freezer right now.
How they compare to actual White Castle burger? I'm sure they're not the same, but I mean, is it ballpark?
They're not the same, but they're not. They ballpark. They ballpark. They're ballpark enough to for me to frequent them every grocery trip.
Okay, I like them better.
I go to the grocery store. I pick up a box. I got the regulars. I got the jalapenos. I got the chicken sandwiches. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you rock with them for real. I didn't even know they had chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, they got the chicken sandwiches.
My kids like the little burgers and stuff. They get the little hamburger ones or cheeseburger ones sometimes and stuff. So they with it. And every once in a while, if I'm hungry and on the go, I might slide one of theirs in there real quick.
Yeah, they're not too far off. They're not too far off. But they are better from the actual restaurant, of course. But they're not too far off. If you like them little things, they're gonna be a notch up from that.
Okay, I wouldn't be mad at it. Hey, brother, on a side note, man, for those who are still watching, hey, man, we ain't had no advertisements in a while, so I'm going to just advertise this for you real quick. You see that right there? Go to teespring.com. You see my shirt that says Cigar Pro? Go to teespring.com and go to /Burning Cigars, man. Go pick up some merch, man. You know, hey, this is one of them, but we got a lot of fly stuff in there, man. Go check it out, man.
Yeah, Cigar Pro. And even if you were a novice, you just getting started, man. Speaking into existence. You know,
most definitely.
Think like a pro, become a pro.
Yeah. What's the update on your cigar, man? Mine is still got the cashew thing going. I got a little bit of maybe a little vanilla, but the cashew is still predominant. You know what I'm saying? Very creamy smoke. Aroma's nothing special. Typical, tobacco aroma. You know what I'm saying? Cigar, typical, normal that you get up a cigar.
So just holding a solid smoke then. Okay.
Holding a solid smoke. That's about how far I've progressed into it. My burn actually turned out pretty decent compared to how it started when I was first starting to light it up. So, I ain't mad at it.
So Crazy Alice. I'm gonna say the flavors kind of dial back a little bit, which is not a bad thing for a flavor cigar. It's allowing the tobacco to take more of a spotlight now. So I'm getting more of that wood, more of that earthy. Nothing too crazy going on with the smoke. No spice or anything like that. But the sweetness is dialing back. Still a little bit off the wrapper. You know what I'm saying? So it's still putting a little bit on my palate, and then mixing very well with that oak and that woodiness, that earthiness that's coming through. And it's coming through just a little bit more stronger now. You already see we're about 35 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
Still got it was a small boy too. It was a small stick. And I still got a good little bit left. I'm like maybe halfway through the second third, about to hit the final third. But we're kind of really smoothing out and getting more of those tobacco nuances going, more so than the flavor. Like I said, that flavor was real nice and real subtle, real easy. And then it nicely took a back seat. Nothing came out that was a bite or anything like that kind of just hit you in a bad spot.
Right.
Kind of just dialed back subtly. And then those tobacco nuances came out. So I think it was a really good transition into that.
They do a good job with their cigars, man. They're a nice little match together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm curious. We have to look more into Deadwood as a company and just see what else they're doing. If they're doing anything outside of the flavor realm, I'm curious.
Yeah. Because I think if they do, I think they would. They probably do it very well. Because honestly, like right now, I don't feel like I'm smoking a flavor cigar.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm smoking a regular cigar at this point with just a little bit of sweet. Just like if you had any regular cigar that had a little bit of sweetness to it. Right. That's what I feel like. Like.
So that would be the liquor equivalent of having a little ginger ale splashed into your actual whiskey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like that. But I like that with a cigar. That make a good cigar, man. How they doing it with. Even if you just, like you say, eat just a little taste on the wrapper. You know what I'm saying? Like if I pick it up on the wrapper, but not the actual tobacco, that's fantastic. I'm with that. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like if you dipped your cigar into something. It's kind of like a dip. A dip. That's kind of what it kind of give me the reminder of. Like maybe I just kind of dipped my cigar real quick.
That's a win. Yeah, it's definitely a win. It's nice smoke, man. Nice, pretty smoke coming off of this, man. It's got a little bit of a woody oakiness, oak wood type flavor coming off of this too, but like I said, mainly cashew. But let's move the conversation, man. I sent you a video of what's the brother's name, man? White,
Charleston White,
Charles White. Yeah, Charleston White. And I see his stuff sometimes, but I don't follow him a whole lot. But this particular video, like YouTube Shorts gets me. Like now that they've added the shorts to theirs, and I go to YouTube and I see this one little thing this title that interests me, and I know it's not going to occupy 6 minutes of my time. I'm like, okay, this is going to be 30 seconds with those. To a minute. I'm like, all right,
they reel you
I'll
in.
go check it out.
They'll bait you into something real quick.
I'm baited every time, and once they get me on one, I'm like, scroll up, let's see what's the next.
Let me see another one.
If the next one,
I got another minute. minute.
That one don't look good. That one's a good one. And they just get me and I'm stuck in there for a while. But so anyway, with Charleston White, conversation he was having on this radio show, he was talking about how he would snitch on people. And, he was the example he gave, he was at it looks like a radio station of some sort. He gave the example. He said, if I'm in the car with you and you have drugs in the car and we get pulled over, I'm gonna tell the officer those are his drugs.
They ain't my drugs. They his drugs.
They his drugs. They're not my drugs. He said, I'm 44 and I will not be in prison when I'm 50 years old. I refuse to. He said, I'm a law-abiding citizen today. I don't live by those codes no more. And the judgment that man was getting from every person in the room was on high levels. You know what I'm saying?
They could not fathom that thought. Like, how could a man think like this?
They couldn't fathom how he could think like that.
It was wild to me. The magnitude to how that sounded so foreign to them. You know what I mean? And I don't always disagree with Charleston White, and that's one of the ones that I don't disagree with. I don't disagree with.
Hey, brother, look at this right
here. They ain't mine. I can't go down for what you got. That's yours, man.
These are these people that work at the radio act like they fresh off the streets. Like, why can't you fathom this as a law-abiding citizen that might be the case? You know what I'm saying?
I work a regular job. I work hard for my money. I work hard for my lifestyle. I take care of my family. I got kids to consider. I got my own welfare to consider. You know, why would I go down for something that I ain't do?
Right.
Makes sense to me. I'm sorry. It makes sense to me.
Makes sense. Now, in reality, what they couldn't fathom it. Now, this is what would be in an ideal, perfect world. If you with somebody and they real enough, they would understand. Hey, man, my boy with me over here is clean, man. He ain't got nothing to do with this world. We got caught. Let me take the hit. It is mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, your friends shouldn't even be looking at you like, hey, we don't want them to know.
We're going down together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you look at your friend like that?
And that's the thing that's crazy. It's like they expect if you get caught on something, if y'all weren't together, for you not to rat somebody else out or to snitch on somebody else and take that hit for yourself. Like, they want that benefit on one end, but don't want it on the other end when it comes to considering somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense. Like, hey, look, I got to take the rap for this. This was me. That sound more honorable to me. That sound more like loyalty to me than the other way around for me taking a hit for something I ain't do.
Correct.
Like, crazy thing is, like, not
that funny I didn't do it, but I'm not of that world either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not that just this specific situation I didn't get caught. I don't do it at all. Like,
I'm not in at all. Yeah, I'm not in that world at all. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, like, I've been into these this whole mobster world lately. Like, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've just been binge watching YouTube videos and documentaries on, like,
easy to get caught up
mobsters. You know what I'm saying? The John Gotti's, the Sonny Francise's, the Sammy the Bulls, like all these guys, Griselda, like all the way, like all the cartels. Like, I've been like deep into all of it, right? And just looking at their codes of when somebody flips or whatever and turns against the mob and starts snitching people out and rat people out, and they looking like, hey, look, I stepped away from the mob life. I'm not in the life. So if I talk about it, it ain't on me. I'm not snitching anymore. It's because I'm not in that life. I'm not part of this. I'm not part of that. So whatever I say, hey, look, it is what it is. But then they do have that code that they live and die by. But that's for those people who are in that life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna say nothing. They're gonna be tight-lipped.
The mafioso, like the Italian mob guys, their code is a little more thorough. I will give them that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then a lot of American gangs and, you know, groups and stuff like that, you know.
But you know what's crazy? Like, what's crazy, like, even with that, like, I can't even I tried to get into, like, some of the American, like, even some, like, the African-American culture, gang stuff or whatever. It just sit different. Like, the Italian mobs and even, like, the Colombian cartels. Those have been the hot ones for me. Like, I've been deep into those.
It's the organization of it.
The organization's different, man. It's like it's I
think that's why they get more romanticized and stuff like that. Just from the way that they carry themselves a little different, man.
A little different. Yeah. But like even in that, like, you've had so many people who turn and snitch and say, look, man, I ain't gonna do 50 years if I can only do 10. But all I gotta do is say what you did, because I ain't do what you did. They honestly looking for you. They ain't looking for me. So I'm stepping away from the life. Y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did it. That was him. Him over there. Him.
You know,
not me.
But see, that's I think a lot of the confusion, and us as in Black culture, our culture and our understanding of snitching is totally unique to other cultures and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, we believe can't nobody tell on nobody or you snitching. Like, it don't matter if you a law-abiding citizen and somebody come and rob your house, don't call the cops. You snitching. Like, we on some weird stuff when it come to that. Like, I've heard people say the cartels, the Mexican cartels and stuff, you can give up anybody that ain't your own people. Like, and it's okay. So if a Black gang get into it with a Mexican gang,
tell on them all day.
It's fine. You get a pass for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But for us, we don't tell on anybody. Any name show up in your paperwork, you viewed as a snitch. You know what I'm saying?
Even if you were like he said, he's a civilian, he out on the streets, whatever, and I see something happen, us in Black culture, you be like, I ain't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily snitching.
Yeah.
You know, we call it snitching, or however they try to divide up between being a rat and being a snitch or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you see some kind of criminal activity, and especially if they trying to pinpoint it to you, like, hey, look, nah, man, it wasn't me.
Even if they don't try to pinpoint it to you, why can't I tell on you? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing something you ain't got no business doing, and I saw it, and I have nothing to do with nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I tell on you? Like, hey, if we in Target and I see you put something in your pocket, why can't I tell on you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be guilty?
Granted, I'm not gonna go out of my way and be like, hey, look, man, on aisle number 5, he just put some Enfamil in his back pocket or whatever, or in a little. He tried to stash this or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go out of my way to tell on you. But if somebody comes up to me and say, hey, did you see something happen over here? I might be like, depending on the detriment of it,
doing the red shirt.
Yeah, but look, he grabbed something.
I'm with you. I'm the same way. I wouldn't do it. If I wouldn't go out my way, I wouldn't be like, go to the front desk and be like, hey, man, go check the camera, man. So-and-so on aisle 20 over there put some info in his back pocket.
Yeah. That's the snitch to me.
That's not a snitch. That's a tattletale. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, tattletale. There you go.
It's a tattletale, man, because you went out your way to go tell on somebody for doing something petty. You know what I'm saying? A petty crime. Now, if you committed if you raped somebody on a train, you know what I'm saying, on the subway, I've seen it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And somebody go tell on that person. You're not a tattletale. You're not a snitch or nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's
it
different.
depends on the severity of the crime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. That's you know what I'm saying, playing a hero in a sense, because like a situation like that, the person who was offended might not feel comfortable with speaking on it. So they're gonna need somebody to speak on their behalf and, you know what I'm saying, come forward with something to make them feel comfortable with reporting something or whatever. So I get that. That's totally different. You know what I'm saying? In those aspects, you kind of gotta go out of your way. You're kind of obligated to go out of your way to bring something to light.
Okay, I'm gonna put you in a spot. I'm gonna put you in a position where you as an ape, AMC ape. Now I'm gonna make you consider big business versus morals. What if somebody robbed a bank and you knew exactly who it was? They didn't come tell you they did it, but you just ID'd them. You was in there, you were able to ID the person. Would you snitch on the bank robber or tattletale on the bank robber or tell on him? He didn't put the gun to your head and put you on the ground. He didn't do no wrong to you. He just walked in, give me our money, and then ran out. Didn't harass you, didn't scare you.
Is there a reward?
No.
No.
You gotta make it
I'm gonna try to find Buddy and be like, hey, look, man, I saw you. You might want to give me a little cut of that.
All right.
So
no.
What
if your money was part of what wasn't insured, though? You know, because they only insure you up to like $200,000. You know what I'm saying? So what if he took some of your what was yours, and they like, hey, Mr. Denzel, you know, bank robber came in last week while you were in here, and you know, about $500,000 of your money is now lost because it's not covered under insurance from what occurred.
Well, is that how banks work now?
I don't know. It's all hypothetical.
I mean, maybe back in the 50s, maybe back in the 50s they did when you had your specific spots where you can. And and you got your safe in the back. You know what I'm saying? I know they got that whole thing, but now that everything's digital, my money's somewhere in some kind of number somewhere in space, in a satellite somewhere.
They still might try to play you with that. I'm sure they would.
I mean, if they did that, like if it affected my money,
if somebody hacked,
we talking.
How about that? Not an actual physical bank robber, a hacker. You know what I'm saying?
No, somebody hacked it. If somebody hacked it, and I was affecting my money that's in my bank account. Oh, we talking. If I know you and you had a conversation like, look, man, I'm a hack Navy Federal, and I'm like, yo, and I know you about to do it, and you did it, and then I wake up the next morning and say I ain't got no money in my bank account. I'm gonna call up. I might change up my voice or whatever. Like, hey, Jared did it. I think I know what happened to that to this bank. I had a conversation. Here's the text messages. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my money back, or you better break me off something. I'm just saying.
Wow, huh? But
you shouldn't have told me. I shouldn't have been a part of it. I ain't had no business knowing.
Ah, man, I'm with you. But I don't,
What's your take? What's your take
on the bank robbing thing?
Yeah, what would you do?
It's tough because I've been so brainwashed to this culture also. So it is a weird spot because I'm a person who's kind of like, it ain't my place. I'm gonna mind my business. I'm brainwashed to that mindset. But if I'm affected by it, it's really gonna depend on how close I am to that person. And I'm gonna have a conversation with that person before I rat them out. Hey, brother, you better take care of me because this affected me, and I know what's going on. Get me straight, or we got problems. Like
it depends. It depends on the impact. It depends on the type of crime.
Yeah,
it depends on what it's impacting, who was impacting. It's a lot of factors. If it's something that means nothing to nobody, like somebody shoplifting something and whatever, I'm not gonna go out of my way. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody say, "Hey, did you see somebody?" Yeah, the guy in the red coat that just ran out of here. That might be your guy. I think I might have saw something that didn't look right. I ain't gonna be outright like, yeah, I know he did it. I saw him do it. I'm like, hey, he looked a little sketchy. You know, I might lead you or nudge you in that way. But if it's something detrimental, like a rape, murder, somebody, you know what I'm saying, kid got hit or somebody family member, like, and I know what happened, and they need some kind of resolve. Okay, I might say something.
Yeah. That's a whole nother situation. Detrimental, extreme situations, like big situations, murder, some type of assault against kids,
or if it's something coming back to yourself or whatever, it's going to impact somebody that you know very closely, and they're trying to pin something on this person or pin something on that guy, but they ain't do it. But you got a good idea who it might have been.
Right.
It depends on the impact. So it's a lot of factors that are involved. I'm not going to be one of those ones who's like, nope, I'm not saying nothing ever. I'm not talking to the police. I'm not talking to them people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a family dispute, I'm not going to be the one to call in the police on, hey, police, y'all need to come over here unless I feel like somebody might lose their life or whatever.
Right.
But if it's like a fight or some kind of altercation that's, you know what I'm saying, can be seemingly harmless, you know what I'm saying, tomorrow we're going to wake up, we're going to shake hands and move on about a day or maybe never speak again. No, I'm not going to involve the police or press charges or this or that.
Right.
It depends on situations.
Yeah, I'm
willing to talk depending on what it is and who it's impacting.
Yeah, it's gotta be worthy of it. I'm not if it's petty, mind your business. I'm of that mindset. You know, I'll never be what's the name they call the girl? Karen. Yeah, I'll never be a Karen. You know what I'm saying? Just because I mind my business too much. But
yeah, you stealing something from Walmart. I don't care. Walmart got way more money than me. I don't care if they missing some chicken wings that you decided to steal. Who cares?
Yeah,
ain't gonna hurt me. It ain't gonna hurt the Waltons or whatever their names are.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hurt them.
They got $1 billion steal
your pack of chicken. But I will be looking at you like, why you stealing that chicken, man? So I'll be judging you, but I won't be mad. But I won't go tell on you because
like, bro, I could have bought you that chicken.
I might not have bought it for you, but I mean, I'm the guy that's just like, I don't know, man. Like I'm gonna try to live by a certain ethic and code at this point in time in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
like if I'm living by it, come on, man, you got to step up. You got to live by it too.
People accountable to it. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like
it ain't easy for me. So guess what?
Suck it up. Like you know what I'm saying? I done took my L's and suffered trying to treat people decent. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I expect to see people do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't. It ain't. You do that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I do this for myself. So I sleep good with myself. And that's not to say I ain't never stole stuff in my life. But once I got to the point in life where I said, you know what, and I was still relatively young, you know, when I said, all right, I shouldn't be doing that. That affects somebody. You get
to the point of accepting responsibilities and what it takes to, you know what I'm saying, to maintain your life and others.
Right.
You do what you got to do. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Right. Like I tell my kids this all the time. Like there's two different hards. You know what I'm saying? It's hard going through a struggle and it's hard being successful. You just got to choose your hard. Which difficult do you want? Yeah, struggling is difficult. But being successful and having things to sustain your life and or nice things and plus up and do even greater things, that's hard. Which level of difficult do you want? Which end of the spectrum do you want? So sympathy is pretty low for me. Maybe I'll start gaining some compassion a little bit later down the line. But like I'm pretty much, in my opinion, just coming out of the thick. I still feel like I'm coming out of the thick of that struggle and that climb and that grind of getting to where you want to get to in life.
Right.
So it's still fresh to me as far as remembering all the things that we had to go through coming up just to get a little bit of the piece of life that we got.
You ain't forgot the grind. You ain't forgot the grind.
I ain't forgot the grind. Yeah. Still grinding every day. Like, still got to get up and get after it every day. Even though I got to a certain point, we still, you know what I'm saying? I look back, I'm a whole lot further than where I was 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. But we still on that continuous grind and that climb.
Right.
But I ain't too far removed to be like, nah, suck it up and get to it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it's easier now than it was 15 years ago.
Right.
It's easier than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. I look at it from the point of view of just exactly what you said. It's you're taking the easy route. Like in Atlanta right now, there's a lot of robbing, people going in and robbing makeup stores and all kind of weird places and stuff. And it's just like, that's easy, brother. You put your life on the line for a little bit of money, and that was easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to go out here and make it work, though. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to have sacrifice and discipline and get up every day and figure it out. But you don't get to make that excuse. I just got out of prison and won't nobody give me a job. So what? It's 2022. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go make your own job. Nowadays, you can get out of prison, get on YouTube and tell prison stories and make $10,000 a month off of doing it because people want to hear your story. So you ain't got to be dependent on nobody to go give you $12 an hour no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Them days is over with. Like,
yeah. And even if you feel like that's something that can be fleeting at some point, like it's not sustainable, but is it enough to get you to the point of where you could carry on, get from one stage to the next? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, that ain't gonna be stable. I don't know how long this is. I need something legit, whatever. Hey, but there's a way you can start on anything. There's a way that you can get started to get you a little bit of a piece, a taste of something to get you from one stair level to the next stair level.
Right. But shoot, even today, even when you make that comment, that make me cringe a little bit. Like, to think that people saying I need something stable, that ain't gonna be stable. So you look at something that you building and you say that ain't stable, but you look at something somebody else build and you like, all right, that's stable. Yeah, that's gonna be here. Nah, it ain't gonna be here. It can go out of business just like yours can go out of business. You know what I'm saying? But who you trust to make sure it don't go out of business?
Or they can get rid of you.
Or they just get rid of you.
Been there before.
It's very possible.
Twice.
Layoffs. They're happening all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's because corporations ain't as stable as you would like to believe they are, But yeah, man, I look at it as a weak thing today, but that's me in my almost 40-year-old brain thinking, versus somebody
23,
maybe at 23, I'd have said
18,
something different.
17.
I'd have said, go get your money how you need to get your money, you know, but I don't see it through those eyes no more. I see it as that, man, you got a lot of possibilities out here. Suck it up and deal with it. Because I sucked it up and deal with it.
That's because you went through the grind yourself. You went through the grind yourself. You had to hold your own. But man, I heard something. I think it was Steve Harvey said it. He's like, we're living in a country that tells you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but then we're also living in a country that takes your bootstraps away from you, and then expect for you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Okay, break that down.
That don't hit me.
Break. So like, take your bootstraps away.
So expecting you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but then strip you of your bootstraps. So now you don't have any bootstraps to pull yourself up with. So all the things that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like if you're going to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, well, one, you got to have boots. Two, you got to have straps in order to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But then when you're set back in a certain sense to where you can't even get the boots that had the straps in them. And then when you get the boots, you know what I'm saying, they're stripping me of my straps. They're stripping me of my rights, or they're pushing the finish line back, you know, to make it harder for me to even get to the point to where I can't even do something for myself. Not saying that that's fact for everybody, but in a lot of situations, a lot of neighborhoods, settings, that's the case. It's just the fact that those people who are in those situations, they got to take themselves out of those situations. They got to have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, I can put myself in a better situation to attain these bootstraps. Yeah. You know, but we are in a situation to where we have a country and we have situations that like to take our bootstraps away from us and then tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You know, it's like, all right, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but we're gonna hang these bootstraps all the way over here. So now you got to go get these bootstraps, and now you got to figure it out. Now how you gonna build? You know what I'm saying? The finish line's pushed back further. You know, it's been like that for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that you can't still go get those bootstraps. That's the part that a lot of people miss. They get to the woe is me is, man, they hiding the bootstraps from me, or I can't get these bootstraps to even pull myself up with. But they don't understand the fine print of you got to get your own bootstraps, or you got to improvise your own bootstraps. Yeah. You got to figure out how to make your own bootstraps, and then now you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's harder. It's hard, but it's doable.
Well, you know, in a sense, all our bootstraps are being tampered with. You know what I'm saying? It's just some people got spares and extra boots laying around where they don't feel it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you know, inflation is messing with all of our bootstraps
on every level. On every level,
But some people got enough where it don't hit the same as when you ain't got much at all. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, we all in a position where just excuses are so limited today. Yeah, like even in my own life right now, how I have situations where I look at and I say, they messing with my bootstraps. I got to pull myself up, but they messing with them. I can't even give myself a pass. I don't feel sorry for me when I feel like life is messing with my bootstraps or circumstances are messing with it, because it's like, what excuse do I have? Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't give myself a logical excuse anymore. It's too much out there. You know what I'm saying? That I can't feel bad for nobody. I don't feel bad for myself, which now makes me not feel bad for nobody else.
Anybody else, yeah. Now I agree. Trust me. Like, man, you know our history. You know where we came from. You know what we did. So you know for a fact 100% that I get that. I get that. But it's the fact that a lot of us are oblivious to the fact that we can improvise. We can make our own bootstraps. We can find a way to strap these things in, and we can figure it out. We can figure it out. But it's just the fact that so many people that's brainwashed in a sense to believe that they can't. To believe that I mean, like,
and I don't give a pass for the brainwashing anymore. Like, I don't. That's a scapegoat at this point in time, brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at how much information is on the World Wide Web, and you look at it, everybody got it in their pocket every day, and you look at it. Change your algorithm. A throwback to the old episode. Change your algorithm if you're not getting enough information to let you know that you got options. and the change your mindset.
You just put a bar right there, because even with what I just said, I'm thinking back to how we came up. We didn't have as much information.
Yeah.
So now I put myself into the mindset of a 16-year-old, 15-year-old who's coming up in today's day and age. No matter what situation they're in, no matter what situation that you're in, at whatever level, unless you're just so far removed from any type of technology whatsoever, and you don't have the ability to see anything and be able to dream and imagine anything, that's the only place that you can be where you're at that particular disadvantage. Other than that, because it took for us to get out and catch these plane rides, catch these flights to other areas to see things and say, I can now dream that because I saw it. You know, remember back in the day, remember we used to do this? Remember we used to pull up Google Maps?
Right.
Everywhere in the world, right? And we used to drop the little man in the whatever, and then we used to go on these virtual trips.
Right.
And see Monaco, see Nice, France, see Italy, see Rome virtually. You know what I'm saying? We used to have to do that. Now, what do we do? What do we do now? We shoot each other a video of somebody walking through, live stream through Paris. You can access the ability to see and dream and drum up what you know is out there. Before 70s, 60s, 50s, whatever, 80s, 90s, when you were in your community, all you knew was your community. All you saw was everybody to the left and to the right. You didn't know who had this and who had that other than who you saw ride down the street in that flash. Man, what kind of car was that I just saw go by? Was that a...
And you know what I'm saying? Look it up. You just had to.
You couldn't look it up.
I hope they come back through here.
You had to catch that. You had to catch that in that moment. And when you did catch it in the moment, it happened in a flash. So you had that small window to dream something.
Yeah.
Now the ability to dream is endless. It's endless.
Endless.
You know, I didn't want to go to Monaco until I knew what Monaco was. I didn't want to go to Nice, France, or Dubai until I knew what Dubai was. But it's the fact that I've never been there, but I've seen it. Now I want to attain the ability to say, I got that stamped on my passport.
Yeah.
It's there. I went there. I did that. Because I saw and I was able to dream of what I want to do. Oh, I want this. I want this kind of car. I want this Benz. I want that. I want to live like this. I want to live like that. I want to go here. I want to smoke this. I want to have this. I want to be able to say I experienced that. Because the ability to dream just became that much bigger. It's easy now.
Right.
It's easy now.
Right, bro. We are truly limitless. And if you have a limit, it's self-inflicted. And I promise you that. Fix it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fix it.
Change your algorithm. If what you seeing is something that you don't want, change your algorithm. You'll see some stuff that you want.
Right. It's your fault, man. So, you know, I love Steve, but for me, that is a partial truth. I can't say that that's
it's a partial truth. It's a partial truth
because people have options. That's the only reason why I would disagree with it. But it's a true statement that is a little less true today, just because the world we live in.
It's an incomplete statement. It's an incomplete statement. It only tells one piece of the story.
Yeah, you can fix it. Is the part of the statement is mixing. It's what he said, but you can correct it. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to make sure that we touched on that also.
Yeah,
there is.
It might not be easy. It's not easy.
No, it won't.
But the but is there. The fix is there.
Yeah, it might not be, but discipline. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you want to learn to do crunches. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to change it, change it. That's the answer. Start changing it. You know
only way to do it. Only way to fix it. Only way to change it.
Yeah.
Just gotta do it. Do it.
That's where I'm at. All right, so let's get the final reviews of these cigars, man. Mine, I'll go first. I'll say with the Charter Oak, I'm going to go ahead and grade that at a 3.8. I say it is a good cigar. We go 1 to 5 once again for those who may be new. 3.8 is my rating. Solid cigar. Pretty consistent from start to finish, though. But it did what it did do. It did it well. But it was mainly an oaky, little bit of woodiness, some vanilla, and majority cashew nut taste. Pause. And it was a nice creamy smoke. You know what I'm saying? Medium body.
Nice.
It did pick up medium to full towards the second, third. I didn't ever get into the final third of the cigar, but and it had a good ash, and aroma was average.
It was average. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you did say 3.8, right?
3.8 is my score for this.
That's solid. Solid
cigar.
All right. So Crazy Alice. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the rating right off the gate. 4.2. 4.2 for the Crazy Alice.
Cool.
It's right up there.
Before you go into it, let me ask you this. Is that 4.2 in general for a cigar, or 4.2 based on flavored cigar category?
Flavor. General. Just off cigar. Okay. Mainly for this point is, like I said, like it went straight into traditional cigar pretty quickly. By the time I got to that second, third, it was almost like I was smoking a regular cigar. Like that's not a flavor. But then I had those additional background flavors of having something else on top of that. So 4.2 just off a regular rated cigar. If I had to rate it against flavor cigars, man, I'm gonna get that thing a 4.8. Woo! If it might be my favorite Deadwood series.
Okay.
Sweet Jane was a little too sweet, through and through, throughout the smoke. Fat Bottom Betty, she's kind of like in the middle between Crazy Alice and Sweet Jane.
Okay.
But Crazy Alice, only thing I wish, I don't know if they're make the Crazy Alice in other sizes. I need to find that. I've only seen that one particular Crazy Alice in the two places I was able to find it. When I found it the first time in Tampa, and then the second time up here. Only 2 times I've ever seen it, and they've been the same shaped cigar each time. So I don't know if they come in different sizes. I got to research and find out if they have a bigger one. That's my only gripe, is the fact that my cigar didn't last long enough. My cigar, I smoked it from start to finish. It's gone.
So I saw you was getting really low, and we was around the 50-minute mark. You was pretty much done by then. Like
I was done. Yeah. I smoked it from start to finish. So I got the whole flow of the cigar from the beginning to the end, and I feel like it was a solid built cigar, crafted very well with all those flavors, and it was a steady cigar. I know I talk about how I like those different changes, but it was more so of a steady cigar, even through the little bit of changes. Just wish it would have lasted a little bit longer. Of course, it was a smaller cigar from the jump. But yeah, man, 4.2 overall, 4.2. And the thing I think I like about it the most, as I'm finished with my cigar, is whenever you finish your cigar, you have a certain type of taste on your palate still, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a pleasant taste. Sometimes it's a bitter taste. And sometimes when that cigar burns low and it starts to change and it gets a little bit more harsh towards the end, didn't do that for me. I'm left with a pleasant taste on my palate. So as I go about my rest of my day, after I smoke my cigar, I'm probably going to have this look of jubilance in my face. Is the fact that, I got this great cigar that I just had, and I'm just happy afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm left with that feeling. And that's what Crazy Alice did for me. It left me with that great, I just had a really good cigar feeling. And I'm probably going to taste it for the rest of the day.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that's dope, man. Real quick, I did pull up, went to Deadwood Tobacco's website, and the brands I see Sweet Jane. Sweet Jane's got a 5 rating. And this is from the actual consumers. The customers is buying and they put in their personal reviews and stuff. 5. Fat Bottom Betty, 5. Crazy Alice, 5. Like people that's buying these are loving them. But I see that they also have some variations of the Sweet Jane and Fat Bottom Betty. They also have some Chasing the Dragon is one of their cigar brands that they have out. They got several ones of those. Really good scores on these. But in that line of the ones that have the girl names, Leather Rose is in here also. And Leather Rose got the most reviews. Leather Rose got 310 reviews, and she still got a perfect score. Perfect 10. Sweet Jane had 198. Now that you say
Leather Rose, I feel like I've seen that name somewhere.
Yeah. I think I seen it too, but I don't know if I had her before. That's scary too, Leather. But I might give her a shot. Might give a shot. Yeah, they got other ones too. They got other ones too, but it seemed like those are just their regular cigars. That
the reputation's already up there. So like, if you try to leather rose and it doesn't hit you where you
I won't hold it against them at this point.
You can't hold it against them. They're trying to make some. I would look at it as they're trying to meet somebody at each point. Whether you like crazy sweet, like really really sweet, you like real earthy, whether you like leather. I feel like if it wasn't great, you can't hold it against them. They just have to make those different variations. Like somebody who has a really peppery cigar, like a Rocky Patel. Yeah. They got a strong peppery cigar, but then they have some that aren't. So, but they gotta be there for each consumer. Right. Each type of consumer they have.
Agreed. All right, y'all. Well, that is the Reggie Miller episode, and hopefully it wasn't Reggie for you all. We will get with you next week.
Straight
episode 32. Right. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. Peace.
Yes, sir. Cigars up.